So I've seen a lot of really nasty things said about Darren Till lately. I don't like it, dude. I don't like it. And I don't think that it's deserved, okay? I don't think that the things that are being said about Darren Till have been earned by Darren Till. He's one of my favorite guys, okay? I've talked about this a lot. Like, I have a list of guys that I root for every single time. And as a matter of fact, George Masvidal fought Darren Till. That was a brain breaker for me because I always root for both of those guys. Those guys are like legit. I never root against them. They fought each other. Obviously, Masvidal won. That was one of the... that's what sent Darren Till to 185. Now, I also want to reframe his career because the idea that he is like on some terrible skid that you can't explain when you look through his fights is ridiculous. You can explain exactly how he ends up on the skid that he's on. And it's not like, oh, Darren Till's overrated, whatever. Now, before I get into that, if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. This is actually a video that I will challenge you guys to have a meaningful conversation in the comment section. Like, that's what this channel is about, man. Smart MMA fans listen to my takes and then talk about it in the comment section. I would also challenge you guys to find a dumb take because they're very, very rare among my community. So give it a look. And then if you want to join the community, go ahead and do that. Subscribe, ring the bell, tell your friends, all of that stuff. But anyway, I'm serious. I want to know your guys' takes on Darren Till after I reframe his career because I really think he's getting an unfair shake here. I really do. And then also him pulling out of the fight, like people breaking his balls over that. As a matter of fact, let's start right there, right? So let me start by saying this. Okay, one of the main things that I saw that was critical of Darren Till was that he's a major disappointment. Now, that in and of itself, I can't push back on that. That's a subjective word, right? Like if someone's like, Jesse, you're a disappointment. I'd be like, why? They'd be like, well, when you were born, I looked at you, I was like, this is a guy who's going to be 6'6". It's like, well, I'm not. They're all right. I'm disappointed. It's like, all right, well, I don't know what to tell you, man. So disappointed, a lot of people said they were disappointed with Till. That's fine. I'm not in a position to tell anybody how they should feel about a guy's career. But people who are saying he's done or that he's like, whatever. Like I saw a lot of really nasty takes about him, dude. Like nasty. He's garbage. He was overrated from the beginning. He's trash. I saw the word trash used 3 times about Darren Till on Twitter. And I was like, in what universe is Darren Till trash, dude? Like we'll go. And again, I'm going to go through his career. We're going to go through each fight. And we'll talk about exactly what happened. I can tell you exactly what happened with Darren Till. And then, we'll see what happens in the future. But let's go back to him pulling out of this fight because people breaking his balls about that. It's like, okay, first of all, when he pulled out of the fight, he accompanied that announcement with a video of him getting his knee drained, like needle in the knee, syringe full of blood and whatever other liquid is in your joints. And I am getting one of those done in 2 hours, actually. Boop, 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 on my elbow. This is getting drained in 2 hours. I know from talking to other people who have had similar things that they've had to get their elbows drained, had to get their knees drained, that it can be agonizingly painful. Like really painful, like ridiculously painful. And the doctors and my jiu-jitsu professors also, they're like, does it hurt, man? Because everybody knows these things can hurt super bad. So if Darren Till's pulling out of a fight this close to the fight, obviously it hurts, man. Like, obviously it hurts. And he's in a position where what's more damaging to his career at this point, right? Pulling out or a loss? Can he afford a loss right now? Okay. Can he afford a loss? Of course not. So is he going to go into a fight with something that's debilitating and making him unable to train? Of course not. Like that would be idiotic career management. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be terrible management of your career. Like I understand being tough and all that stuff, but if you have something that is hurting enough to where you can't train and you've got a guy who's kind of a stylistic problem for you, Jack Hermanson is, who knows? He's at least similar kind of to Derek Brunson. So, I don't have any problem with Darren Till pulling out. He has to win. He's still super young too, right? He's not like under the gun in terms of like his age. He needs to win, right? Like that guy needs to win. So I don't have a problem with it. And I think people that have been like, hammering him, it's ridiculous. It's like, it's not just ridiculous. It's like, it's misplaced negativity. It just is, man. So I'm going to go through this. Look at this. So Darren Till was, let's see, he was 17. No. Yeah. He was 17-0, right? He was 17-0 and now he's 18-4. Okay. That's a big swing. He went 1-4 in his last 5 fights, obviously. Okay. Now, who did he lose to though? Okay. Like, let's actually run through this. So he goes from, now think about this, dude. So in September of 2017, he's fighting against Bohan Velichovic, right? Belhan Velichovic. Then he fights against Cowboy, and he dirt naps Cowboy in the first round. And that, everyone was like, whoa, dude, this guy is the real deal. Now, Cowboy actually did have a resurgence after this fight, because that was in 2017. And that's when Cowboy, let me double check that I'm telling you the right things, because he lost to Darren Till. Then he went 4-1 in his next 5 fights. He went 4-1 in his next 5 fights. So it's not like he beat a Cowboy that was really like on his downslide yet, right? But nonetheless, it's Cowboy and it's in the first round, and Darren Till was enormous for 170. Cowboy is a very slow starter, so he beats Cowboy and everyone's like, oh my God, this guy's gonna fight for the title. Now, in hindsight, is beating Cowboy equivalent to an event that should have told them, like, this guy's ready for a title shot? Like, this guy's ready. I don't think so. So they put him up against Stephen Thompson, who had fought Tyron Woodley twice, basically to a draw 2 times, pretty close. And he fights Stephen Thompson basically to a draw. Like, if you watch that fight, he fought him basically to a draw. They gave it to Darren Till. Okay. Now, Darren Till has had a bunch of fights like that, where it was basically to a draw and it went to the other guy, or at least very close to a draw. That was one of them. So now he finds himself in a fight with Tyron Woodley, who's one of the greatest welterweights of all time in the prime of his career. Okay. At this point, Tyron Woodley's a monster, an absolute monster. And as we know now, not a very good matchup for Darren Till, because he's such a strong takedown threat. So Tyron Woodley, which is his first loss, clips him heavy with an overhand right, jumps on top of him and finishes him, stops him. I think he submitted him. Then he goes into the Masvidal fight, okay? Now, the only time he's ever been clipped heavy in his entire career, okay, where he got knocked down, is against that dude, Tyron Woodley. So he goes in against George Masvidal, who at the time is legitimately earning the moniker of, like, you know, kind of like here and there, whatever. I'm not even going to say it because, you know, I was going to say journeyman, but nonetheless, he doesn't know he's facing a completely different George Masvidal now. He has no idea. He's at the O2 Arena. Masvidal is just coming off of like some life-changing event where he's trained harder than he's ever trained. He's completely focused. And also Darren Till fights with his chin up. Like, he fights with his chin up. Masvidal threw a really slick combination. Threw some misdirection at him, and he clipped him with a left hook he didn't see coming. He gets knocked out, right? So then he goes to 185, and he fights against Kelvin Gastelum. Now, people are writing off that win like it's not a big deal. Kelvin Gastelum was a monster right then. He had just almost beat Izzy. He beat Izzy within an inch of his life in that fight. Izzy ended up winning because Izzy is a savage. But that's right after the Kelvin Gastelum and Izzy fight, when he took that fight at 85. That was insane, dude. Like, the balls on taking that Kelvin Gastelum fight are enormous. That's an enormous granite balls fight to take right then. He beat him, split decision, incredibly close fight. Again, I'm going to say that was another one of those fights that could easily have gone the other way. Then he fights Robert Whittaker, okay? And he goes to a unanimous decision for Whittaker. That was an incredibly close fight also. That was one of those fights where everyone's like, both guys won. Both guys won, okay? So the 2 fights at welterweight, he's not even fighting at welterweight anymore, right? He's not at welterweight. He's now moved to 85, okay? He should have never been at 170. He was missing weight every single time. Not every time, but lots of the time. So he fights Whittaker. So he's got 2 fights against 2 monsters at 85. Monsters. Kelvin Gastelum at the time and against Robert Whittaker, and he fights him tight. Both of them fights as close as you can fight a fighter. Then he goes and he fights Derek Brunson, and he gets exposed for having a soft takedown defense game. And that's his last fight. Okay? So the only time when he really got like exposed as having a big weakness in his game, it was against Derek Brunson. And that was in the last fight. So, like, the idea that he can't shore up a couple skills up and then come back stronger is ridiculous. He's not, like, how old is he? He's 29 years old, dude. He's 29 years old. He's got another 6 years of being in his prime. Assuming that he doesn't start taking a bunch of injuries. And now he's training with Hamzat. I'm bullish on his comeback. I am. Assuming that his injuries aren't serious, which, if he's smart, he's going to be managing that like he is here, like not fighting on, a joint that needs an enormous drain like this. How gross is that, dude? And this is smaller than it was before. It's like boop, boop, boop. It feels like there's like a balloon in there. It's gross. But yeah, and so people were being really nasty. Like really, really nasty. And here's the other thing I want to talk about, because I looked up a bunch of stuff on Twitter about him, and I don't want to read the really nasty ones because they make me feel gross. But I do want to say this. Chris Curtis took the fight and he asked Darren Till to corner him at UFC London. That's awesome, dude. And the only other thing I wanted to say about Chris Curtis was he had the best moment recently in his last fight where in between the first and second round, when he was fighting against that dude, he high-fived him. He was going kind of slow. And Eric Nixick got in his fucking ass. You guys probably saw that, right? Where he was like, what's all this high-fiving, dude? He's like, you want to make friends? Take him out to dinner after the fight. Go get a drink after the fight. Give him a hug after the fight. Stop fucking high-fiving him. I was like, yes. Because I hate when fighters do that, man. Like that is one of my biggest pet peeves. If you guys are having an incredible fight, high five like damn. But you're not sparring, dude. You're fighting for your life in there. So another guy says Darren Till pulled out of his UFC London fight because he couldn't keep up with Hamzat's training. How on earth? That's from a fan. Who the fuck are you? How would you possibly know if Darren Till is keeping up with Hamzat's training? In what world are you in a position to say a thing like that? Have you been there? You watch them train. You know that the knee getting drained is a result of training with Hamzat Chimaev. It's just bullshit. It's like slander. It's nonsense. This guy says Darren Till is hurt again. His career might be over. I guess I am kind of reading some of these. His career might be over. Why? How is his career over? In what world is his career over? Because he pulled out because his knee it needs to get drained? Is that generally a career-ending injury? Now, Darren Till on Twitter is an amazing troll. So I looked up some of these too. It's hilarious, dude. He says this is DC. This is a mini version of DC, this fat white kid. Hilarious. And then Darren Till also said a thing that I always say, which is, if you're a troll on here, it's no problem at all. I love trolls. There's a big problem, though, if you are a troll with a profile picture of a famous footballer or MMA fighter and you have no picture of yourself or whatever, then you are a scared, weak little man. Get your face up and be open about it. Let's go at it. Do not try to troll with Leo Messi as your profile because you're a sad, weak little waste of spunk. I wouldn't want to lose the 2 minutes replying to use. Anyway, he's hilarious. But nonetheless, I think he's having a hard time giving to him for no reason. And that is basically what I've got. So back off Darren Till, dude. Give him some space. Let him come back. He'll come back stronger. Quit breaking his balls. Here's the other thing I wanted to say, by the way. I'm going to actually probably edit this and put it at the beginning. So my shadow ban is off, you guys. I really was shadow banned. I was actually shadow banned. And we found out because I talked to YouTube. I hit YouTube up and I was asking them, I'm like, first of all, why would a video of Dustin Poirier and Michael Chandler getting in an argument in this crowd of a UFC fight get demonetized when this is a UFC news and commentary channel? No one even fought. Like when there's violence in the videos that you share, like outside of the octagon, you're not allowed to share that and have it be monetized. But I'm like, there's no violence. You're telling me that like security guards grabbing a hold of two fighters who are potentially going to face off against each other in the octagon, you're telling me that's over the line and I'm going to get demonetized? It makes no sense. And it got confirmed when I reviewed it. And then the one with Nate Diaz pretending to slap a guy, or really slapping a guy, actually slapping a guy. I watched Shawnee Mack on Full Send MMA. I like that guy, by the way. He's cool, dude. That is a cool dude. I'm bullish on that channel. I think they're going to do really well. But anyway, he said that it was real, so I guess it's real. But anyway, so that one they upheld too. They said that the video of Nate Diaz slapping the hat off Shawnee Mack was too violent to be monetized. I'm like, dude, what? Anyway. So in that conversation, I said, also, I've had my reach limited on a level that I can't understand. Like my analytics did not change. What is going on? And they said, give me 24 hours to look into it. And then the next 2 out of the next 3 videos did double or triple the average that I had been doing before. So whatever they did, they fixed something because they reached out 24 hours later and they're like, everything should be working as normal now. And I still didn't get those demonetized videos fixed. But look at the views on Sean O'Malley, the Sean O'Malley video, and then look at the views on the one that I did yesterday of Nate Diaz and compare them to the last 2 months. In the first day, they were almost double what my average was. Like talking the first 6-7 hours. So whatever YouTube did, they fixed it. So if you are a YouTube creator and you find yourself getting limited and you're sure, you will know, dude. Like you'll know. You will know when you're getting restricted. You'll feel it and you'll be like, what is going on, dude? Because you'll look and you'll see how many new people are being showed your content. No one knew was being showed my content. And then I talked to them. They fixed it. Whatever they did, fixed it. Now, boom, it's completely back to normal. Dude, you want to know the level that I was dealing with? So I would, on average, I was adding around between 2,500 to like 5,000 new subscribers per month. 5,000 is obviously on the high side. I did almost 8,000 one month. But so like on average, it's like between 2,500 and 5,000. And the previous month to this and the previous month to that, I did 700. And I was like, what is going on, dude? Like, what is going on? And then since they did the thing and they fixed it, I added 450 subscribers in 2.5 days. Okay. So 700 in a month last month, 700 a month the month before that, almost 500 in let's call it 500 in 3 days since they fixed it. So I love YouTube. Thank you guys. Thank you for fixing whatever happened. I appreciate it very much. Anyway, and I love you guys too. Thank you guys very much.